The White House unveiled a new drilling moratorium after 2 court rulings slapped down its original ban. Louis Raspino is the CEO of the Houston-based oil and natural gas driller Pride International. He warns that drillers may pick up to work in friendlier waters outside of the U.S. Raspino is also chairman of the International Association of Drilling Contractors. He's with us now on the phone from D.C. He's going to be meeting later on today with lawmakers about the economic impact of the ban. Raspino, thanks for joining us this morning. We're so glad to have you with us. What are you going to be telling lawmakers about the economic impact? Are you going to make an argument that it's really hurting the region and hurting the nation?
Well, first of all, we're going to be telling our legislators and the administration that, first of all, we always have to keep in mind that the first thing that happened with the blowout is the loss of 11 lives and the injury of 17 people. And that is, of course, our #1 responsibility as we go forward in any event. But more importantly, the economic and ecological crisis that followed the blowout really is a black swan event. It's an exception. It's not the rule. We've drilled 14,000 deepwater wells worldwide and 40,000 in the U.S. Gulf, and we produced over 16.5 billion barrels from the U.S. Gulf.
Many people say, Louis, though, when you try to extract oil from these levels, especially offshore drilling, I hear you say it's a black swan event, but many people say, look, this is an aggressive procedure. Sooner or later, there's going to be a problem, and BP's accident in the Gulf is proof of that.
Well, there's proof of accidents in every industry we deal with, whether it's airlines, whether it's our own space program, whether it's the tanker business. And we can't get away from risk in our business. But what we can tell you is that the history of this operation has been extremely safe around the world. And this moratorium, the most important message, this moratorium is going to create an even bigger economic catastrophe for the Gulf Coast region and for the United States. It's going to be a threat to our national energy security, and it's going to be a threat to energy prices.
Louis, I have to say, you just mentioned around the world. I mean, is it really possible for you, though, and businesses such as yours to pick up and move elsewhere? I mean, if you want to talk about risk, there's a lot of risk, including even political risk, when you start to look for oil in other parts of the world.
Well, there is risk in other parts of the world, but the risk is manageable, and the rest of the world is continuing with deepwater drilling and all drilling in spite of what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico. And yes, it is possible for rigs to leave. 2 rigs have already left the U.S. Gulf, have already made those announcements. And what do you expect when a vessel costs $700 million and rents out for $500,000 a day? You don't expect it to sit idle. Either the rig owner is going to be able to move it someplace else and get value out of it, or the oil and gas company that has the rig on contract is going to have to move it someplace else to get value out of it. These are very large, sophisticated manufacturing plants that have the ability and the economic need to get up and find work.
You gave us a price tag there, Louis, but how much does it actually cost you to move a rig? I mean, at what point does that decision make sense economically?
The cost of moving a rig is very minor versus the cost of not being paid. You know, we can move a rig, a deepwater rig, from the U.S. Gulf to West Africa for, $10 to $20 million. It really almost anywhere in the world. And when you're looking at $500,000 a day as rental income on these rigs, you can see it doesn't take too many days to justify the move.
Louis, we thank you for your time. Wish you luck today in your conversations. Louis Raspino joining us there. He is the CEO of Pride International.